Imagine this. You're at home, latte at night. The plates from dinner are still on the table. The TV is humming softly in the background. It's a completely normal evening, but then things take a turn. This is the story of the Hargreave family, and it's one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries in American history. It was a quiet night in Wichita, Kansas. Inside the Hargreave home, everything seemed perfectly ordinary, except for one thing. The family's dog was found later, locked inside a bathroom, trembling with fear. What could have terrified this animal so much? The answer might lie in what happened at exactly 11:48 p.m. At that precise moment, several neighbors heard a strange sound. It wasn't loud or aggressive. It was a slow, deliberate knock at the Hargreaves' front door. Mr. Hargreave, the father, got up to see who it was. He walked to the door, turned the handle, and opened it wide. But there was no one there. The porch was empty. There was no sound of footsteps running away. No car speeding off down the street. Just an unnerving, absolute silence. When police arrived, they were immediately baffled. The house was untouched. There were no signs of a break-in, no shattered windows, no forced locks. Nothing was stolen. Wallets, jewelry, electronics, all left behind. It didn't look like a robbery. It didn't look like anything they'd ever seen before. The food was still on the dining table, half eaten, as if the family had vanished but there was one clue. A disturbing one. A trail of muddy footprints started right at the front doorstep. They led across the living room carpet, past the couch, where the family might have been sitting just moments before, and then they just stopped. Right in the middle of the room. They didn't lead to a window, another door, or even turn around. They just ended, as if whoever made them had simply vanished into thin air. The investigators turned to the home security system, hoping for answers. What they found only deepened the mystery. The system logs confirmed it. The front door was opened at 11:48 p.m., but the motion sensor on the front porch, which was extremely sensitive, detected nothing. No person, no animal, not even a branch swaying in the wind. How could the door open if no one was there to open it from the outside? Even stranger was the camera footage. The camera pointed directly at the front door was supposed to record any activity. But for that specific moment, the exact time the door opened, the footage was just static. A blank, unexplainable gap in the recording. It was as if something didn't want to be seen. The most bone-chilling piece of evidence came 15 minutes later. At 12:03 a.m., a call was made from the Hargreaves. On landline, it went to voicemail. When police listened to the message, they heard something that would haunt them for years. First, there was just the sound of heavy, ragged breathing, like someone was struggling to catch their breath. Then, after a long, tense pause, a faint whisper broke the silence. A voice, raspy and low, said 3 terrifying words. "You let me in?" Who was this? Was it a member of the family being forced to speak? Or was it someone else entirely? The voice didn't match any of the family members, and it sent a shiver down the spines of even the most hardened detectives on the case. A massive search operation was launched immediately. Police canvassed the entire neighborhood, knocking on every door, interviewing every resident. They scoured nearby parks, woods, and abandoned buildings, but no one saw anything. No witnesses came forward. Forensics teams dusted the entire house for fingerprints, but every print they found belonged to the family themselves. There were no foreign prints, no DNA, no fibers. Absolutely nothing to suggest an intruder had been in the house, except, of course, for those muddy footprints that led to nowhere. Days bled into weeks, and weeks turned into months. The faces of the Hargreave family were on every news channel and newspaper. Their story captivated and terrified the nation, but despite the widespread attention, there were no new leads. No suspects were ever identified. The case went cold, but it was never forgotten. Years passed. The Hargreave family was never seen or heard from again. No bodies were ever discovered. No arrests were ever made. It was as if the entire family, a mother, a father, and 2 young children, had simply ceased to exist. Their disappearance remains one of the most perplexing open cases in the Wichita Police Department's history. The house itself became a local legend. It still stands on that quiet street in Wichita, a silent monument to the mystery. For years, it sat on the market, but it would never sell. Potential buyers would get an eerie feeling as soon as they stepped inside. Locals who live nearby have their own stories. Some claim that if you walk past the house late at night, you can still hear things. A soft knocking at the front door, slow and deliberate, echoing in the empty house where no one has lived for decades. So, the question that hangs in the air is this. What happened to the Hargreave family? Was it a kidnapping so perfectly executed that it left no trace? Or was it something else? Something that defies logical explanation. That single, chilling voicemail seems to hold the key. You let me in. It suggests that the threat wasn't forced upon them. It was invited. Think about it. You hear a knock. You open the door. What if the thing waiting on the other side isn't something you can see? This case forces us to ask a terrifying question. What if the greatest dangers are the ones we willingly invite into our own homes? So, I have to ask you, if you heard that slow, deliberate knock late at night, would you open the door? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And tell me, which state's unsolved mysteries should I explore next? Thanks for watching. And if you want more stories that will keep you up at night, make sure to subscribe.